See, I'm just gonna ride the wave until the morning sun. If I just speak into existence, it's already done. It's already done. It's already done. If I just speak into existence, it's already done.
Amani Nabaraka, peace and blessings. It's Dr. K here. SissyMarySue Education Fund, back again with an awesome podcast for you. Today, we are so honored and thrilled to have Philadelphia icon, playwright, father, grandfather, great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather. We got one.
Great-grandfather, looking young as ever, so, let me say that's awesome right there. Playwright, Mr. Richard A. Murray. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me,
yes,
man.
Sir,
that awesome introduction.
Give me the introduction, right?
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I want to let the audience know that I've had the pleasure of working and learning from this brother for close to maybe like almost 15 years.
About 15 years.
About 15 years.
Some time for sure.
About 15 years. So started out in food play.
Food play, yep, up in Massachusetts. Food play productions, and we did nutritional plays for kids from 5th to 8th.
Yeah.
5th to 8th grade. K to 5.
K to 5. Yeah. K to 5. Plays were received throughout the Northeast and all.
Yeah, from Massachusetts to Alabama.
From Massachusetts to Alabama. Shout out to Alabama too.
Shout out to Alabama. We had some great fun there at the little planetarium. We were there doing a show for the kids.
Okay.
It was great.
Yeah. So.
And your music was awesome with it.
Yeah, we have that connection, folks. We know Mr. Murray lays down some awesome, poignant writing for the productions. He'll send me, a line or two, sometimes a whole scene, sometimes, like I said, a line or two, and it connects. It works.
Yes, it works.
Yes. So let's dive into a few of these questions. I got some questions here. And we just want to wrap a taste and give you a more insightful idea of the brilliance of the being that we have here with us today. So, first question is, what inspired you to become a playwright?
That's people ask me that question all the time. I'm not really sure what inspired me. It just seemed like that's just what I've been doing my whole life. I remember in 3rd grade, they used to give us spelling words, a list of spelling words. You write 10 times, you write a sentence for each. And from there, I just never wrote a sentence. I always wrote a story and just inserted the word somewhere in the story.
Wow.
And I've been doing it ever since. And I think I wrote my first play, though, in 1999.
Okay.
My first play ever went on.
Okay. Do you remember the name? What was the name of the play?
Raheem's Spirit Train. Raheem's Ride on the Spirit Train.
Raheem's Ride on the Spirit Train.
Yeah, it was a monologue play. It
Okay.
was a play where we talked about Black history, and Raheem was a young man that would get in trouble.
Okay.
And one night he went to sleep and he dreamt, and the Spirit Train came and picked him up and taught him about all of these different ancestors, Black historical ancestors, and it train went all over the universe, and it let people off, and let people on in different eras of the time of the world. And Raheem learned to be of service.
Okay.
So he had to serve them in different ways and learn humility. And on top of that, he learned how to just be a better person as when he woke up, he was a different young man.
Man, that sounds like we should redo that for right now. Right, Spirit Train. Oh man, the dude. Who was the actor? Do you remember the actor who did the monologue?
Well, there were we had 12 historical figures, so we had 12 actors.
Oh, okay.
And then we had a young man that played Raheem. I don't remember his name.
Okay.
But they would come out, and as they would get on the train and exit the train, they would give their monologue about who they were, what they did in life. And so it wasn't a lot of conversation, but it was just introducing the audience to these historical figures. And we did that play at the convention center in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Convention Center. Okay, 1999.
Yeah.
And that description that you give is just as relevant then as it is now. More so probably now. How has Philadelphia influenced your work and your creative process?
Well, one thing about the Philadelphia theater community, they are open and welcoming, and they give you a chance. And that's what happened to me. Somebody gave me an opportunity to just kind of help out in the theater. And, I just loved it so much that I just became, just connected to it, and meeting people. And I remember many times I worked for no money, many times just to be at the show, near the show, involved in the show, and things like that. So a lot of opportunities came my way through Philadelphia theater community. Okay,
yeah. Who were some of your, some of the folks who inspired you along the way or mentored you along the way?
I mean, Bruce Robinson, Connie. Connie.
I know, I know Connie. Can't think of her last name, but yeah, Miss Connie.
Miss Connie was. I mean, she really gave me a lot of opportunity. She's the one who taught me how to be a stage manager.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, she taught me. I remember my first stage management gig. I wore a white shirt, but I thought, well, I'm in charge. I should wear a white shirt.
Take that white shirt and
she's like, yeah, you don't wear no white shirt as a stage manager.
You better get a black shirt right away.
So and Carol Sims Neesmith.
Carol Sims Neesmith,
opportunities at Prince Theater. So I had a lot of people that gave me a lot of opportunities there to not only learn theater, but actually put my own plays on. Have my own plays produced and have an audience see them. So
that's awesome. And shout out to Carol Sims Neesmith, because we're recording and filming here in the beautiful CSN Productions facility here in East Falls. By all means, if you happen to be in the Philadelphia area and you're looking for a place to shoot your content, film your content, get in touch, csnproductions.com, csnproductions.com, info@csnproductions.com. So it's a fabulous facility. We got Brother Lee Evans. Lee is, Lee's behind the scenes, but he's in the mix.
Always in the mix.
So on the other side of this camera is a genius. Sitting right here is a genius. I'm just dude along for the ride. Listen. How do you approach collaboration with other creatives?
Well, I think that probably you and I have the deepest collaboration far as history and far as actually getting shows and productions done. And the way I approach it is just that you let people do what they do best, and you do what you do best, and be able to compromise and don't look at it as a competition. It's not matter who's right or who's wrong or nothing like that.
Right.
It's about what works and what's best for the audience.
I say. That's awesome. What would you think is the most challenging part of the writing process?
I don't know. Maybe coming up with the actual theme of the story. What message do you want to send to the audience that you're targeting? Make sure that they can understand it in a way, and always understand that the audience understands way more than you think they do.
Right.
I think that's a big lesson for me as a writer.
Society. So how is theater contributing to society? What role do you think it plays in society today?
I think it plays the same role that it's always played. I think it reflects society. It gives commentary on different aspects of society, relationships, political, nutritional. And so I think in theater, one thing I've learned from like the many people that I've worked with is that you should walk out different than how you walked in from a theater show.
Yeah.
It should be something that changes in you for it to be good theater. And I think it still holds that same role that it has always held.
Yeah.
To speak to society and let them give it a mirror of themselves.
Of themselves and maybe there's civic and maybe spiritual responsibility, depending on the content of the play.
Right.
Of course,
yeah, absolutely. Depending on the demographic, the content, all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that or should I say not think, but how have you seen the changes in representation in theater here in Philadelphia? And let me just get just 100 to keep it a beam. Has the demographics in terms of white and black film directors, white and black technical people, how has that changed over the years, or do you still see it as kind of like a lack of representation in various parts of theater?
Well, in some places there is going to be a lack of representation, both black and white. I mean, I've worked with theaters that, had all black people or Latino, LGBTQ. I've done all of those type of theaters, and they may not have as many representations of other ethnic groups or other communities as someone else.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I think that the representation is probably at a good level in some places again. But I think what's the biggest problem is the access to resources. To
right.
get that's where probably the biggest deficit and the biggest gap that we have versus the actual representation.
It's an access gap.
Yes, the access gap is much more important. It's much more prevalent. Thank you. It's much more prevalent than the representation gap.
The representation, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a matter of access, and that is a great way to bring that question, to kind of like recenter that question. Not even so much, like you said, not so much of the representation, but it's the access to various resources that can make a theater production, take it into like the next level.
Absolutely.
Right.
I've worked on many shows that were just incredible shows with incredible actors that never really saw the light of day. Had low attendance, but it's because they didn't have the access to certain resources to promote it properly or things of that nature.
You have to have that access or the wherewithal, or access to promotion and access to financial resources.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not cheap to put a production together, no matter how small it is.
What are some of the rewards in terms of like that you feel when you see your production? You see the production, come to its fruition.
Well, the first time that happened again was in 1999, and I didn't know much about directing, didn't know much about real conversation in plays or how to build a story. But seeing that play and seeing people say the words that I wrote at the kitchen table was indescribable, actually. I mean, I don't know how people, but I cried when it first happened to me.
Yeah.
Over the years I've seen it, and I still feel that same just unspeakable joy that I did what the Creator has asked me to do and get this message out to the people.
Yeah.
And so that feeling, that sense of accomplishment, I guess, that I had all this stuff inside of me now, and all these people are hearing it. Is, I don't really know how to describe that, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where people say it's phenomena, but it's a spiritual experience.
Yes, it is.
To hear something, that you've written or that you performed.
Absolutely.
Hear somebody else, in my case, hear someone else sing it.
Right.
And you stand there like, I wrote that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And we both experienced that with the summer camp. We did a theater summer camp. And we put on several shows and with original songs and original choreography and original stories with students that were great actors, some in the middle, some never acted before, and it's always worked out. So, shout out to Carol's theater summer camp.
Shout out, CSN Summer Youth Summer Performing Arts Program. Taking her concept was to take kids who had no experience with theater.
Yes.
She brings them to you, and all of a sudden, by the second rehearsal, I'm doing dancing and the whole thing. So when we talk about that, especially with SissyMarySue, it's empathy-driven education, empathy-driven theatrical productions. How does empathy play a role in what you create and what you design?
Well, I think empathy plays a big role, and I used to be what they call a standardized patient educator, and I teach medical students how to. One of the things you teach them is communication as well as examination maneuvers. But the communication and teaching people empathy, you'll be surprised how many people don't have it and don't use it as they should and things like that. But all of my shows, anything that I write is going to have that type of love, empathy, welcoming of somebody new or different. How they feel when they walk into a strange place or have been in a trauma situation. I think empathy is the lifeblood of being kind.
The lifeblood of being kind. That's awesome. Lifeblood of being kind. Man, have you had any experiences in writing or producing that you thought you know what? I like the way that was, but man, if I could go back and do this one production again, this is what I would do.
So I wrote a play called Mother's Mob for a Mother's Day event, and I think it would be something different that I would do in that it was a one-woman production. And we had a dinner theater type atmosphere. People were being served and things of that nature. But I think for the play in particular, probably some things I might have done a little differently. I think I would have directed it differently. I think I would have directed it in another way. So, but I thought it did well. We had good turnout,
So that's one of those ones where you're like, I like it. We can do a little, because as a songwriter and producer, I hear songs I put together, and you listen to them a year. At the time, you think this is
right.
And then 6 months later, you're like, man, that's wrong. But it shows the growth.
Absolutely,
it shows the growth.
I mean, as an artist, you have to evolve. You have to try to get not necessarily better, but just more deeper into your craft and what you do.
Your craft, yeah.
So I know I'm a better writer than I was, 10 years ago.
10
for
years.
Sure.
And I think that showed that ultimately that's what it shows. It shows it's sort of I hear it now, but I've grown so much till I can go back and fix the nuances.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Talk to us about some of your upcoming projects.
Well, I'm working on a couple of things. So I have a book in the works called Foreplay Starts in the Kitchen. It's a relationship book, but it's only about long-term relationships and how I see long-term relationships and how I feel how God fits into the toolbox that keeps a long-term relationship or makes a long-term relationship happen. I always tell my kids, it's the little things that happen in a relationship that they have to keep happening for them to become long-term, because opposites attract, but it's the same that maintains. So
Yeah.
I have that, just playing around with that. But one of the things I'm working on, I have a film that I'm working on called This Shit Ain't Funny.
Yes, sir.
It's a future, kind of future film. It just talks about how we're being, how these guardrails are going in, and the parameters are squeezing us out of what's being funny, because some of the things that used to be funny 20 years ago, 30 years ago aren't funny anymore. The society doesn't deem them funny anymore. So it's kind of how you just carving away at comedy.
Right.
And you know, how are we only supposed to say, you know, I flew in from Las Vegas and my arms are tired. I mean, that's the only joke that we're gonna go back to, you know. So that
Right. How politically correct?
how much gonna take away from us?
There ain't no much real room left.
Right, absolutely. And then of course, me and you are working on Black Joy Galaxy, which is at the top of the list. That's what I'm working on feverishly.
Yeah.
Putting those scenes and those episodes together for this AI series for the melanated people.
Yes. Melanated and non-melanated.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, those.
It's the and I know we can see that on TikTok. Things on TikTok and things on Facebook and things of that nature. Black Joy Galaxy. It is an incredible AI-generated series that Dr. Kennebrew has created and learned how to do the AI characters, and this would be my first time, you know, working in a production without actors or actors that I can't really talk to, but that don't talk back to.
They'll talk if you make it. They'll talk.
But it's great. It's a great series, and I encourage everybody to check it out and look on TikTok and look on Facebook and just punch in Black Joy Galaxy. Dr. K has some great, incredible music on there. Some of the music is really, I mean, it's honestly, and it's incredible. It is. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm just here to put a story to it. Put a story to all this great work that you put together, and hopefully, again, it has a great theme.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that
and it's grounded in empathy as well.
It is most definitely grounded in empathy.
Yeah, that was a major thing. Yeah.
Yes, it is most definitely. And you know, another thing about empathy is for others, but you have to learn to give yourself grace as well.
Yeah.
And I think self-grace is just as important as grace for others.
That's Your work is definitely centered around, you know, empathy, and even with the plays that that we've produced over the last 2 summers. You know, Rise of the Good and Bad, and trying to think of the one that we did previous.
Disconnect
from the drama.
Disconnect from the drama.
Yeah, disconnect from the drama. Reconnect to love.
Reconnect to love.
Now
I mean, and we've had students that you guys know. We've had students when they come in and get on stage first time, you can't hardly hear what they're saying, or they're not looking up, and all of those types of things.
Yeah.
And by the 2 weeks, the end of the 2 weeks, and the first show comes,
here they go.
I mean, it's been, we've seen an enormous growth,
right,
in children, young people.
Yeah.
We've seen enormous growth in those 6 weeks that we do it.
Yeah.
In many of the young people, and I'm sure they take that out into the world.
Yeah.
That confidence.
That's transfer. Yeah. And I remember you telling the kids. I think it was not this one, summer before last. We were talking to them about this being a transferable skill. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a transferable skill, because the confidence you're building up now, you may never do another theatrical play again, but you'll have confidence now when you
meet someone,
yes,
give someone an idea, or speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
speak up for yourself and all those good things. Yeah, but it's been a pleasure to have you here with us, brother.
It's been great being here, and I really appreciate it. And
if you need these plays for SissyMarySue Foundation.
yes, I'm always available to help kids and help people that are that just need that extra boost of confidence or energy that I can give.
Yeah,
positive energy.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so very much for joining us today. Dr. Winnie, we certainly appreciate you letting us bring these awesome individuals to the forefront so that people across the country, across the world can get insight about the brilliance of, playwrights and educators working in empathy-driven forums. So till the next you and I meet, keep your mindset global, keep love universal, never forget the door of no return, and by all means, stay vivified.
We certainly hope you've enjoyed this episode of Educating Empathy. I'm Dr. Lugene Kennebrew, representing SissyMarySue Education Fund, a 501c3 nonprofit public charity. Visit our website, SissyMarySue.org, to find out more about our initiatives.
See, I'm just gonna ride the wave until the morning sun. If I just speak into existence, it's already done. It's already done. It's already done. If I just speak into existence, it's already done.